Hey, this is Paul, and this is just a quick first look at the unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3. This is one of those phones that I've never used before, so I've never used a Z Flip actually, and I'm really excited about it. Like this one even more than the Z Fold 3. And if you want to take a look at the exact same video but unboxing that, then check the description below because I will link you to that there. The Z Flip 3 hasn't changed much really from last year, which is a bit disappointing, and you'll see that as we go through the video, but it has changed that front screen on the outside, and when we get to it we'll have a little look at that. But the unboxing is really not that exciting anymore on phones, as Samsung, like everyone else, removed that power brick, but they do very kindly give you that USB-C cable, which is one of those things you need to charge the phone, so that is just lovely of them. And I think that the Flip 3 is probably the most likely to be bought by someone, so the Z Fold 3 is too expensive, but the Z Flip 3 is closer to people's price ranges, and it just feels a little bit more like a normal phone when using it. So having this out, I feel more comfortable using this because it's not as big as the other folding phone that Samsung do. So I think this will probably be one of the bigger sellers that they have. And when you open that up, the normal screen on this is 6.7 inches and has a 120 Hz display, which is fantastic. So scrolling through this and anything you want to do on it, so gaming and taking notes and going through photos and going through Twitter and all of that stuff is going to look absolutely lovely. A big complaint from last year's phones that I've been reading was that it wasn't very bright, but this year that brightness has been upped a little bit, so now we are on 1200 nits for those of you that care, and that becomes really handy when you're in bright sunlight so you can still actually see what you're doing. Mentioned it before, that outer display is now just a tiny bit bigger than it has been over the past couple of years, so we're now looking at a huge 1.9 inches, and what you can do now is that you can add widgets to that screen, so it now becomes a little bit more useful as it's a little bit bigger. So you can go ahead and you can check the time, which is probably the most important one. You can do checking your songs on Spotify and moving them on, a quick look at your messages, and probably the thing that I'll use it for most is just checking the weather. So now just taking it up to 1.9 inches has made that a little bit more useful, and you can actually touch the screen and use it properly. The heart of this Z Flip 3 is that Snapdragon 888, and of course it comes with 8 gigs of RAM and a base storage of 128 gigabytes. So this should be pretty good for most people and will get you what you need out of it. But if you plan on keeping this phone for a couple of years, then maybe going up to 256 gigabytes of storage might be just everything that you need to do. The crease is something that people always ask about the Fold in this, and it's something that is there. It's always going to be there for the time being, but it's something that you can get over. So it's not massively annoying when you're using the phone. You feel it under your finger, of course you do, but it's not really in the way when you're watching content or anything like that. So I feel like you can just kind of get over this. The phone though is IPX8 water resistant now, and I said it on the other video and I'll say it on this one, that having a folding phone that is now water resistant is just silly. It's so good, but it isn't dust resistant, so things can still get under it. So if you're taking this to the beach, just be careful in the sand, because if the sand gets in there or any sort of gravel, then it's going to cause a bit of a problem. The phone has got a 3300 milliamp hour battery, which is not actually too bad, but it is the same battery as last year, so not that exciting, but almost a bit of an S version of this phone being upgraded. And what you'd really want is something closer to 4000 milliamp hours, but unfortunately we are stuck with that 3300, so we'll have to see what happens as we go along. And using this day to day as my main phone. We'll talk about cameras really quickly though. So that main camera has a 12 megapixel sensor and can record up to 4K at 60 frames a second. So, you know, something that you would expect from a flagship phone. But that selfie camera on this is actually 10 megapixels. And that means that this is better than the Z Fold 3's selfie camera. So that has got one up on that phone there. But all in all, this is one of those phones I'm very excited to use. I've never really used a folding phone day to day, and especially not a flip phone. So I'm excited to be flipping it down when I end a phone call, you know, like off the films and stuff like that. So I'm going to use this phone for as long as I can and see what it's like to use. So I'll do a full review on it, of course, and if you want to go and see that unboxing of the Z Fold 3, you can check the description below for that. But if you enjoyed this video, why not subscribe to the channel? That would be fantastic, and give it a like as well. And until next time, see you later.